Greetings, gamer guys and gals. I'm Zeake, welcoming you to the 23rd part of my Let's Play Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. Let's get to it. Princess Alincia's newly formed Crimean army, with Ike as its commander, marches to Tor Garen and claims its first victory. Tor Garen is a vast wall guarding Daein's border. Manned by battalions of well-trained soldiers, it was long thought impenetrable. Yet, the strength of the Crimean army under General Ike's leadership far outstrips Daein's expectations, and Tor Garen falls. Learning of Gallia's increasing interest in the war, Ike wastes no time ordering his troops further into the heart of Daein. The gears of history, which had come to a halt with the fall of Crimea, slowly creaked to life once more. Chapter 19. Entrusted. Daein border. Naysala, King Naysala of Kilvis, I would speak with you now. Oh, if it isn't General Petrine. What brings you up to these frosty mountain peaks? I've no time for pleasantries. Is it true? Has Crimea's army breached Tor Garen? Though I am loath to report it, this appears to be the case. Bah! Kayaki, you worthless dog. Being defeated by that girl's motley band just proves how useless he was. Surely it's not the general's fault alone. He was told that Crimea's army was weak and that Tor Garen was impregnable. And yet, he was defeated. I'd say that someone severely underestimated our enemy, wouldn't you? What was that? Do you dare to insult Daein, Crow? Men have forfeited their lives for less. Insult Daein? Never. Come now, General Petrine. I'm merely stating the facts. Regardless of the previous battle's outcome, Crimea's army will be stopped here. I will be taking the field myself. Huh. Sounds like you've set the stage for a grand performance. General Petrine, Kilvis will always stand at Daein's side, as long as we receive our payment, of course. If gold is all it takes, then may our friendship never end. See to it that your performance warrants such consideration. Homasa, come here. Yes. Work with King Kilvis and put a stop to Crimea's army. No screw-ups, or else. Leave it to me, General. I will not suffer another failure, King Kilvis. You must finish them, and do so quickly. Are we clear? Arrgh! I am sick to death of being made a fool by that Crimean floozy and her pathetic band of sellswords. And the remaining portion of my fee? Don't worry, we have it ready. You'll get paid when the job is done. As long as we're clear on that point, everything's settled. Well then, I'm off. Dog's breath. Even by half-breed standards, those crows are complete scum. Give that one even the smallest opening, and he'll steal the eyes from your skull. What an untrustworthy wretch. Ike, I'd like to report the results of our last battle. 4,400 gold from selling things. Pretty good. Some good combat EXP and bonus. MVP was Boyd. Pretty good. And 4 new allies. There were no deaths and no injuries beyond our capabilities to heal. Everyone performed exceedingly well. That is all. By your leave, I will excuse myself. Alright, info. Bye, see you later. Yep, oh, missed. Watch your step, it's slippery. Whoa. Missed. Ow, I landed right on my butt. The snow's cold. Be careful. Alrighty, hey, watch, Jill. I'm gonna make a snow angel. Whee! It must be nice to be so cheerful. Jill? Who's there? It's me. Captain Har. But this is the enemy camp. I've been trying to track you down ever since you disappeared at Toha. I figured you were off chasing the Crimeans. I never imagined that you would join up with them. At first, it was just circumstance, but now it's different. Now I'm with them because I want to be. Spending time with them and coming into contact with Legues has shown me what a fool I've been. Legues? I never thought I would hear that word from someone who once said subhuman with such absolute hatred. Sounds like you've had some good experiences with this happy little band. I knew that if anyone would understand, it would be you, Captain. So you're forming your own set of values for the first time. That's good. That's very, very good. But what are you planning to do now? If you keep moving forward, you're going to face General Shiharam before long. Causing trouble for my father was never my interest. However, as a member of this army, I will face him with my shoulders straight and my head held high. So you're determined to see this through? I am. So be it. Then there's nothing left to be said. Farewell. The next time we meet, it will be as enemies. Prepare yourself. And get some rest. You know how important it is. Ike? Can I talk to you? A few minutes ago, a man I've never seen before showed up and spoke to Jill. I wasn't sure what was going on, so I went and found you. What should we do? Whatever they're talking about, it sure looks serious. Jill trained in the Daein army. Fighting against her countrymen will be tough, no matter how prepared she thinks she is. I don't care what happens, you can't let her fight against her own father. All right, Ike? It might not be a bad idea to keep her at the base camp, just while we're in Daein. Interesting conversation there. And as we found out in that conversation, Jill's father is named Shiharam. And if you have her fight against him in an upcoming chapter, she will defect, basically, and become Daein again to protect her father. And I don't believe you can re-recruit her, so do keep that in mind. What do you think, guys? Are we going to be able to perform a new special attack? I think we might. I was looking through some old scrolls on fighting techniques, and I found one that looks perfect. Awesome, nice work. What is it? What is it? Come on, tell us how it works. Well, if we want to learn it, there are some things we'll have to do. Aw, dang, I hope it's not all technical, because I won't be able to keep up. Just summarize it, will you? I could do that. Alright, the most important thing is we all have to use the same weapon. So, if all three of us can use a bow, that'll be one problem out of the way. A bow? You and I have to use bows? Boyd, are you even listening to me? Yes, we all have to use the same weapon. That's part of the deal. Crud. Nothing we can do about it, I guess. You better not slow us down, Rolf, you little brat. Stop calling me a brat. I'm a better archer than you. If anyone slows us down, it'll be you, Boyd. What did you say? I'm gonna... Knock it off, Boyd. Your skills with a bow aren't as polished as Rolf's. Anyone can see that. Which means that even if Rolf has some natural skill, whoever taught him the fundamentals was an expert archer. Yeah, I know, but he just keeps blabbering this nonsense about how he taught himself. I did teach myself. I'm a prodigy. Well, judging by your stance and the way you hold the bow, I think we all know the real story. Eep! Huh? What is it? What real story? Oscar, no, shh! The story that Rolf's lucky to have a genius like me for a brother, that's what. Aw, stop messing around. This is getting stupid. Whew. What are you guys talking about? The three of you have been huddled up here for a while now. What are you scheming? Shh, hi, Ike. Scheming is such an ugly word. We're just... Oh, hey, Ike, we're working on this special man... Yeah. Oh. Sorry about that, Ike. He's been acting a bit odd these days. Really? Seems to me like that you're the odd one in the bunch. Sure. All right. Do us a favor, though, and make sure the three of us are all in the next battle. Sure, I guess that's fine, but why? Well, it's a surprise, that's all. We'll show you later. I'm sure you'll like it. Come on. We can't be standing around all day. Let's go, Oscar, Rolf. Special man? Huh. Man? Mandolin? Manicotti? Manifesto? Oh, who cares? Interesting thought there, too. Brrr. I'll take on any number of enemies, but this snow is another story. I think my beautiful wings are icing over. That sounds like trouble. Are you going to be able to fly? Yes, of course I can fly. These wings aren't for looks, you know. They're made of flesh and blood and feathers. It's not like I'm some animal that has to hibernate when the winter rolls in. Sheesh, can't you, Bjork, tell the difference between comic exaggeration and serious conversation? Oh, I was supposed to laugh, was I? Sorry about that. Oh my, such sincerity. This is unexpected. It looks like someone taught you manners. By the way, I've been meaning to ask, what are our chances for victory? We're still at an extreme disadvantage. What? That's not the answer I wanted. You gotta do better than that, the Orc General. I'm here. If we lose, how am I ever going to show my face in Phoenicius again? We're at a disadvantage, but I don't intend to lose. There's a man in Daein that I need to find, and I will be the last thing that he sees. Ha ha ha, well said. I wish you could repeat that to today's younger generation. There are some weaklings back home that I don't even want to call hawks. I'd love to stick them back in their eggs and start over from scratch. Oh, Jan, if I can sympathize with you. Hey, you hatch from eggs, eh? I was speaking figuratively, you know. Like metaphor. We haven't hatched from eggs for many generations now. Silly Bjork. Alright, I'm out of here. I gotta warm up the old wings before battle. Or who knows what might happen. I figured that egg thing was a joke, but I had no idea it would ever really happened. Bird tribes. Go figure. And our final info. Excuse me, do you have a moment? Oh, General Ike, what is it? It's nothing really, I just thought I'd say hello. That's considerate. Your king is very generous, isn't he? And it's not just Reyson I'm talking about. He left us his two retainers as well. How do we pertain to the king's generosity? I guess it's because Reyson kept apologizing. I just thought that... Am I misinterpreting something? I don't know, but I know that the king can survive without our help. Is that true? That's pretty amazing. I've been given the title of Lord, but I still can't run this army on my own. Titania and Soren handle all the little details, and that's what keeps us from collapsing into chaos. Our king does nothing special. Everyone just does what's needed. There is no chaos. He's really trusted, isn't he? That's natural. In Legu's society, the strongest become king. Unlike the Bjork, kingship is not tied to blood, so we have no weak kings. I'm sorry, perhaps that was improper. No, I agree with you. Choosing a ruler by strength instead of birth makes much more sense. When we face Begnion troops, we target the units with weak leadership and eliminate them first. Bjork weapons can be very powerful, but not everyone wields them well. Since Bjork also choose generals by bloodlines, their competency is uneven, and that is a weakness of Bjork armies. As for you, General Ike, the time to prove yourself is approaching. It's true, but no matter how strong the individuals are, that strength is worthless if they are weak as a unit. An army's power comes from leadership and management. That's good to remember. Thanks. Alright, for supports, we want to get Mist and Boyd up to a A rank, I think. I think that's who we're going to do that for. And we do have another unit here we can talk about from recruiting him last chapter. Shinon. I am going to be using him. If it wasn't remotely... I don't think it was obvious. I was hinting at the idea that I was going to use an archer later on in the game. And Shinon is that very archer. The reason being is because even though his stats at this current time kind of look subpar, especially for this point in the game, and considering that they were only passably good during the beginning of the game, they were pretty decent, especially him being a sniper and, you know, nobody retaliating on him or anything. The thing with him is that he has some of the best growth rates in this game. In fact, I'm pretty sure he has the best all-around growth rates. There are some units that have better in certain areas, but for the most part, he has pretty phenomenal growth rates. And what's so cool about that is that he's going to turn into a very great pot shot unit. You know, a unit that you can use to do massive chip damage or just defeat enemies from afar. I actually love Shinon. He's probably one of my favorite archers in the entire franchise, just because of the fact that his stats have such a great amount to grow in. And on fixed mode, because his statistics are basically guaranteed to grow in certain parameters to a certain degree towards his averages, he actually has pretty high stats by the time you finish a fixed mode playthrough. From what I recall. It's been quite a while since I've used Shinon in a fixed mode playthrough. However, he is pretty phenomenal with his growth rate, so that's pretty cool. And then also he has Provoke. You know, we saw this earlier in the early game when we did first use him, and I did briefly talk about it. But one of the things that I didn't really mention is how intricate Provoke is. Provoke basically has like a priority basis concerning it. It's kind of complicated, and it works in the antithesis way of Shade, which some other units have. Now, Shade makes other units more likely to be attacked before the current unit who has Shade equipped. Provoke is the opposite. Provoke provokes enemies into attacking first, this unit. However, there are some limitations with that because of the priority system in this game. Basically, because Shinon doesn't have one range, if any unit can attack at one range, he has an increased priority on top of his Provoke for enemies to attack him. So he's actually potentially one of the most perfect units to give Provoke to in this game, and I do believe that the developers fully understood that, fully knew that, and that's why they gave it to him. They wanted to give you a unit that could take full advantage of that. Interestingly enough, too, we do also get another Provoke scroll eventually, which is cool if you want to use it on somebody else. But I really do think that Shinon is a great candidate for it, so we're definitely going to take advantage of that. We're also going to give Shinon a little bit of bonus EXP to get him rolling, because his stats are not the greatest at this point in the game. We do want to kind of buff them up a little bit so that he has a greater potential to do much more damage. And that's really the idea here. We're not going to give him too many levels over the course through bonus EXP because he's already promoted. There are other units that need it just as much. But we can definitely at least show him a little bit of favoritism for a moment so that he can be at least caught up to speed. Yeah. So pretty decent level ups. Pretty decent, quite. And then Reyson can go ahead and turn to level 9 right here. Yeah, blank level up. Not necessarily surprising, given the fact that he's got very good growth rates too. Reyson has pretty fantastic growth rates. He's not ever going to be a combative unit, but that's not his purpose, nor is it his need, so we don't really care about that anyway. We're just giving him bonus EXP so that he's a bit more survivable. Alright. And Shinon, we're going to go ahead and first forge him a bow. I definitely think forging him a good old silver bow would help him in wondrous ways to accomplish his tasks. Alright, so what are we going to call this? I think we'll go ahead and call this... I know what to call it. We're going to call... if I could do this right. We're going to call it Highlander. And we're going to give it a nice green sheen so it matches our green sniper. And we can go ahead and take Killer Bow, a Longbow, and of course that Brave Bow. Give it right back to him. Remove some of these items. Take that Legume Slayer. And I think we can go ahead and take that Silent Staff, just in case we need it in an upcoming chapter. Yeah, I think that's about it, except for Mia needs her Wrath skill that we said we were going to give to her, and we received last chapter. Pretty great. Alright, let's move on. Daein Border. So, General, there look to be a lot of enemy soldiers ahead, mostly Daein, but there are some crows from Kilvis as well. More than our last fight? Yeah, there's a lot, but the most troubling thing is that King Kilvis is with them. The Crow King himself is cooperating with Daein? Yep, and compared to the other crows, the king is in a class by himself. Obviously, he's no match for our king, but anyway, you should move carefully. An entire unit under the command of King Kilvis? I think that bodes ill for us. The outcome of the battle hinges on how we deal with them. Kilvis soldiers, As fellow bird tribe Legumes, what can you tell us about them? Oh, please don't lump us together with those carrion birds. We're not partial to crows. As you know, we are outmanned by the Daein troops. Is there any way to get the ravens to withdraw? That would be a tremendous help. Well, suppose I could go meet with King Kilvis if I had to. I don't think that my speaking to him is going to make a difference, though. If you like, we will try, but don't expect anything to come out of it. No matter the circumstance, I will never again speak to that crow. No matter what we decide, sitting here like this is giving the enemy more time to prepare. You're right. Come on, let's get moving. All right. Now, we could employ Rolf so that we could show the whole triangle attack formation of Boyd, Oscar, and Rolf. I'm not going to be doing that because he's just a liability. However, if you were playing with him and you did give bows to Oscar and Boyd is promoted, at this point in the game, you would be able to perform the triangle attack with them, which means as long as you have all three in a triangular formation around an enemy, any one of them that attacks the enemy will have an automatic guaranteed critical attack that cannot be followed up by the enemy. It also doesn't double. So no matter your speed, you're not going to double the enemy with that. However, you can set it up, especially with non-moving bosses, like for instance the boss of this chapter, Homasa, and Naysala. Though Naysala does move, you can still set it up with him. But other bosses, you can set it up to such a degree that you could have all three of them attack in the same turn around if they had already been around in the first place. A good use of this would be like Reyson. You could get Reyson to allow them to all position themselves around a boss and attack in the same turn, and that would be 3 guaranteed criticals against a boss in the turn. It is the legitimate only way to easily, now it's not the only way to defeat Naysala, but it is the only easy way to defeat him, and I like that. The game actually gives you several options and avenues to defeat Naysala, the King of Kilvis. I am not going to be defeating him, however, which is quite a daunting task, considering the fact that he moves. If you get into his range, he will move in and attack you. He is not playing around, so you don't want to play around either with him. But there is something else you can do with him in order to remove him from the map. And I'm going to show you exactly how you can do that and how you can get a pretty awesome reward for doing it too. Now, if you want this awesome reward I'm talking about, you have to be very careful not to defeat any of the crows on this map. None. Nada. Not even by accident. Any one of them, and you will not get this reward. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get some units ready and prepare them. In fact, what we will do... because I am a stickler about how I like my units set up. Let's see. Januf, Alki. Yeah, I think the idea here is that Januf is technically better for this. Huh. I'm not sure, really. To be honest, because even though Januf has the much greater speed, Alki's at a low biorhythm, so if he was at a high biorhythm, he'd probably have more avoidance. I think we're going to go ahead and use Januf, though. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and use Januf, and one of the things we're going to do with him is we're going to trade... This is what I recommend, too. Trade the full guard to Januf, equip it. You have to equip these things. Give him an elixir and a couple of vulneraries. And just move him to meet the enemy, and you'll see exactly how I do that. Alright, so repositioning. I think we want him here. Yeah. Alright, I think that's it. We are ready. Sir, the Crimean army has arrived. I hope they are prepared to pass into oblivion, for this will be their final resting place. Crimean stragglers joined with an army on loan from Begnion. I've even heard they have a betrayer in their midst, and yet they still march on. What an odd group. But as long as Kilva stands at the side of Daein, they will have no future. I suppose they're just unlucky. It appears the enemy has spotted us. Well, a group this large is hard to miss. How will we proceed? No tricks, nothing fancy will hit them from the front, fast and hard. I'm sure you're already aware of this, but if you don't do something about Kilvis, you're at a disadvantage. Yes, I've heard about the ravens, but even so, it's not as if we can turn tail and run away. Now that I think on it, King Kilvis and Prince Reyson used to be close friends. Did you ask him to speak to the king? He was most emphatic in his refusal. It seems that Nesala was responsible for Reyson's capture at the hands of Duke Tanis. I can't really blame him. And the Hawks? They too are of the bird tribe. Surely some connection can be found here. They weren't very excited about the suggestion. You could command them to do it. There's an antagonism between the tribes that we don't understand. I'd rather not force the issue. Trying to coerce them into it would be unfair. I will let them do as they please. That is very like you. However, giving orders that are unpopular is often necessary when one is in command, and maybe so, but I can only do the things that the best I know how, my own way. Come, it's time to go. Well, I would dare say that that's not exactly a smart tact, Ike. Personally, you should probably be more concerned about leading the army correctly and rather than what's fair to individuals in the army. Alright, so yeah, this is a way better option. Having our friend Januf here. Alright, we have to be very careful of these ballistas. Ballistas are obviously effective against flyers because they're just giant siege bows. We also have to be very careful of Nesala, who is quite the trouble. There you go. Alright, so what we want to do, pretty simply here, is we want to just barely be in the range of Naesala. See, now Naesala is going to transform on his enemy phase, which is going to give him a +2 to his movement, so you have to be very careful. You don't want to put him here, at the edge of his current movement, because then he will be able to physically attack you rather than magically attack you. As you have probably noticed since we are looking at this unit, he has 2 range. And he has 2 range in either form. In fact, he's the only Legoose in this game who has 2 range, and the only Legoose in this game who can attack without being transformed. And how that is because of his skill Vortex. Attacks with the same effect as wind. It's one of the reasons why he has magic at all in this game. It almost looks like it'd be pointless. Well, why in the world does he have 15 magic? He's a bird tribe. They're not magical. But that's the reason. He technically has magic at his command and will definitely use it. And because it is magic, it is special effective against flying units like Alki. Now, granted, it's not going to be that effective because it's the same effect as wind magic, which I believe only has 1 might. So you're not saving that much might. But it's still, you know, full guard is necessary not for him per se. It's actually necessary for the ballistas that will attack Alki or Januf in whichever position you put them in to get them close to Naesala, because their ranges all overlap. And as you can see, these are just his untransformed stats. This Crow King here, he is a monster. Quite a powerful one too. Alright, so I believe we can just go here. This is 2 more spaces. And he will attack us turn 1, which will give us the opportunity to talk to him turn 2. And moving on up, getting everybody ready for the next turn. Next couple of turns, actually. None of the crows are even remotely close to transforming besides the Crow King, which I do believe is sincerely done on purpose, because I'm of the opinion that the way that they made this map was to force you to figure out this understanding, like how you can get Naesala over here and talk to him and get him out of the map. And they do talk about it a pretty fair amount, I think. And Shinon over here is doing just what we needed him to do, tanking some hits. Alrighty, that's going well so far. And here comes Naesala. King of Crows, do you seriously think to betray your fellow Legoose? Oh, please. You hawks are always so excitable. You know the true nature of my fellow ravens, so... Oh, buddy. Thank goodness he did not crit. I have had Naesala crit Januf or Alki on numerous occasions doing this. And because of the damage that these ballista do, he does just enough damage to kill them with 1 attack and 1 crit. Either one of them. As long as 1 ballista hits them. It's actually kind of ridiculous. Alright, let's go ahead and talk to Naesala. You, King Kilvis, you egg-stealing snake. One of Tibon's flock, eh? You are his eyes, if I'm not mistaken. It's enough that you sold the White Prince to humans. Now you're fighting against Legoose? You hawks rescued Reyson, didn't you? So everything worked out in the end. What's the problem? I'd like you to repeat those same words to the prince's face. Reyson is here? Here? Why? He supports the Crimean army. The Bjork leading this army helped him to escape Serenus Forest. Helped him? Are you saying a human came to the aid of Reyson? A Liguz? Yes, and he rescued Princess Leanne, too. Leanne is alive? Don't play the fool. You know the life of the forest has returned. That was their power at work. I see. That's how the forest... Of course. Listen up, Crow. You need to fly over there and talk to the prince. If you don't do it, I'm gonna know that you really are the enemy and report that back to the king. Think it over. Yes. What to do? Alright, so we have big old dangerous Naysala here, and it's interesting because big old dangerous Naysala here is... he's no longer dangerous. Let's just put it to you that way. He is not going to any longer attack your units, which is pretty great. So if we get rid of this guy right here, which is just, I mean, it's a given. We got to get rid of all the ballista. We can then put Reyson in Naysala's range for his enemy phase to go and talk to Reyson. That's exactly what you need him to do. So not only do you talk with him with one of the bird tribes, you then have to go and let him talk to Reyson. It's actually pretty daunting. The first time I ever did this, I thought all I had to do was talk to him with Januf and he would turn green. And when I saw him turn red and then he was flying towards my units, I was terrified. But he's no longer aggro, and he won't even attack your units if they're surrounding Reyson to get in the way. So you don't really have to worry about that per se. One thing we can do though is heal up Januf. Put Ike over yonder. And this guy is gone. And a level up for Oscar. Pretty great. Not such a great level, though. 1 magic. I'm pretty sure you could do better than that. Alright. We could use the Highlander, but I don't think we want to. Personally, it would be, in my opinion, a waste. Unfortunate that we did not KO there. Very unfortunate. Oh, come on, Shannon. And no crit either. Alright. Looks like we'll have to smack this guy down with Boyd. And gone you are. And that's it for our phase. Now let's see what goes on. Janeth taking a little bit of chip damage. Ooh. I mean, we did want to aggro him so we could get him out of the way. But I actually thought that Janeth was out of his range. I should have checked. And there we go. Ike's First Adept. Quite useful, too. Would not have KO'd him without it. And a crit, maybe. You know. The Battle of Swords. Her sword won. Level 7 Mia. Pretty good. Pretty sure that's B rank swords. Two adepts. Even better. Double is obviously better than none. I was half expecting him to miss. Yeah, the Legu's animations in this game are not that impressive. Reyson. Hey, Reyson, look at you. You look sharp, kid. Go away. Oh, so you can talk. You, how dare you show your face to me? Well, I have been called brazen before. Some have gone so far as to say shameless. Come on, at least let me give you a reason. Begone, my ears are closed to you. Reyson, we're still friends, are we not? Oh yes, friends in fact. We're such good friends that you sold me to that wretched sack of lard. I didn't really sell you. Besides, I planned on rescuing you right away. You were just impatient and flew away on your own, so... Are you blaming me? No. Well, maybe, I mean, it was I who was in the wrong on all accounts. No one was hurt in the end. Come on, smooth those ruffled feathers, all right? Leanne is alive. Yes, Tibarn's attendant told me. That's wonderful news. When he sees her face, I'm sure King Loreze will begin to feel better at once. Things are really looking up, aren't they, Reyson? I suppose that if you hadn't deceived me and taken me to the forest, we might not have discovered her. So I will forgive you. Just this once. Reyson, oh, that's... With conditions. Will you accept them? What? What are they? Pull your troops from this battle now and never again enter into combat against your fellow Legus. Oh, come now, Reyson, that's asking too much. What will you do then? Will you continue to fight the Crimean army to which I'm in service? Very well, you win, Reyson. I'll leave and take my soldiers with me. Yet I cannot say what the future will bring. I have the fate of my nation to consider after all. Very well. So we're friends again? Come to Kilvis for a visit, will you? Nelucci will be so pleased. I'll do that. When this war is over, Leanne and I will both come. Oh, and as for Tibarn, I'll speak with him. There's no need for you to worry. Thank you. Farewell and watch yourself. This is war, you know. Oh, I almost forgot. I've got something for you. Call it an I'm sorry present. Eh? What's this supposed to be? It's a human trinket. It's called a night ring. Something made by Bjork? Don't make such a disgusted face. I tried it, and it proved to be quite useful. Understood. I'll take it for now. Don't get killed, Reyson. If anything were to happen to you, Nelucci would never let me hear the end of it. Mesala, thank you. Alright, so we are definitely going to be keeping that. Definitely. No way, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Listen to me, Darkwings. We of Kilvis are leaving. Turn at once and head for home. Alright, so all of our Legu's friends, the Crows, are now other units. And if they escape, you'll get experience points for it. If you kill even one of them, it might even be that if you even attack one of them and do damage, I'm not sure about that one, but if you kill even one of them, you lose out on the Night Ring. And once you see what it does, you would kick yourself if that has ever happened to you. Alright, so the Night Ring here, an item that, when equipped, allows the wearer a second movement, as with cavalry. So, as I was talking about before, how I really wish that Reyson had Canto in this game. That second movement that cavalry gets in this game. You can give it to him, but you have to be very particular about this. I'd say the first 10 or 15 runs, no joke, of this game I've played, and I've played many, many more than just 15 runs, I did not even have the slightest inkling about this. In fact, the majority of the way that I took care of Kilvis, King Kilvis, in fact, was just by using the triangle attack and defeating him that way. Because normally, that's all I knew to do, so there wasn't really much I could do otherwise. Alright. We have several units to heal over here. It might not have been such a great idea to aggro all those enemies right now. Alright, so since we have several units to heal, let's take a little bit of a defensive formation. Yeah, once your mercenaries have the strength to wield blades, they're some of the best weapons for mercenary or sword units in this game. They're much more powerful than the average sword. And I guess the reason why they did that for this game, because previous games in the series had great lances and like great axes and master this and, you know, all these other different kinds of axes and lances. I think the reason why the game is so generous about giving you really good sword selections is because there are very few ranged options for swords, and none of them are any useful whatsoever on anyone who does not have magic. And that's just, I mean, that's just the fact of it. All right. Heal up Mia. Yeah, the Sonic Sword that you receive is also one of the ways that you can damage like Naysala in his group. I think we'll keep that equipped, actually. Yeah, we want to do all we can to get our lovely little Reyson out of harm's way from all these enemies. I think he's okay now. Yeah. So we can go ahead and finish this guy off. I say that again, and we really can't, though. I could have used the Killer Lance, but if we had the same luck with Oscar as we did earlier with Shinon, we wouldn't have got the KO anyway, so what was the point? But we can finish him off with our resident Valkyrie. Kilvis has betrayed us? I think abandoned would be more accurate, but... Idiot, it's the same thing. Arrgh. Accursed subhumans. We should never have trusted them. Interesting attack. Very interesting. I was not at all surprised. I was not at all suspecting that Shinon would have got attacked there, but he did. Yeah, so if you're quick about getting rid of the ravens, you don't really have to worry about any of them transforming to attack you. I mean, turn 4 is when the earliest some of them, not all of them, some of them transform. All right, we can go ahead and trade with Marsha there. And we definitely want to get rid of another ballista. We should be able to get rid of the other one maybe next turn. I don't know that Marsha will have the range for that, even with Reyson's chant, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Might be close. Alright. Yeah, we can obviously deal with this guy with the Highlander. It has, what, 36 might against flying units? That's just stupendous. Okay. Ike would not mind getting the KO here. Very nice. I am actually a way bigger fan of Ike's critical that he does upon not KOing an enemy, which there is 2. Every unit in this game, as we've discussed before, at least I've mentioned it, I believe at least once, has 2 different kinds of criticals in each one of their stages. So Ike has 2 criticals right now that he would have for his physical weapons. One for if he does KO, and one for if he doesn't KO. And I'm pretty sure that most people have not seen his non-KO critical outside of a cutscene we'll see later on in the game. Ike usually KOs. A little bit of healing for you. We won't be using Januf anymore this chapter, or for this whole game for that matter, but... yeah, and a little bit more healing for Soren. Anything helps. Yeah, Boyd needs the healing. He would appreciate it. Only problem is, I don't remember who is stationary and who is not, so we're going to have to be very careful about that. And just go ahead and heal from a distance. Very good job. I appreciate you. Alright, awesome. Yeah, we got a men staff here. We're going to go ahead and steal that. Might as well. And the elixir. We might only have time to steal the elixir, to be honest. Yeah, we'll definitely be able to reach. So if we put her here, really doesn't matter what we equip. Yeah, we can do all this. Ooh. He one-shots Boyd with a critical. That is not good. Not good indeed. Fantastic. And our last ballista unit off the field. Finally. We have a hand axe user right to our right over here. He's not very, well, short axe. He's not very much of a threat to our sword using Pegasus Knight. We should have more than enough people to go ahead and defeat the boss this turn. It's kind of unfortunate that I couldn't use Shinon to defeat the boss, but we'll have plenty of opportunities later on for that. So, who will do it exactly? Ooh, he has critical on everybody. Well, this is totally free. I do like free. Ooh, Colossus. Would be way better if Colossus was a bit more damage. I actually don't remember exactly how the damage calculation for Colossus is. Yeah, I don't know. It might be like increased by half your build, or I'm not entirely sure on that, to be honest. Doesn't particularly matter, but ooh. Oh yeah, I can't steal anything from him because I don't have the speed to steal. That was a very silly thought of me there. Alright, so even if I adapt here, it's not going to kill. My sword is lightning. Do you think you can follow its dance? Yeah, let's in fact go ahead and do that first, just to make sure that we're getting some useful damage. Even if he crits here, it's not going to kill her. I totally forgot he had Adept. If he had a crit there and Adepted, she would have been gone. Oh well. No more mage. He wasn't much of a threat anyway without that staff of his he just got stolen. Yeah, we can go ahead and blow the Legue's Lance if it means a KO. And it did not mean a KO, unfortunately. We could finish him with Mist, but I do believe we want the KO with Ike. Heal up Titania. Mist gets a little bit of EXP, always appreciated, and a level too. Pretty great. Level 13. Very Mist level up. Yeah, we want to make sure we are hitting this guy. Your fighting style is unique. It is rough and awkward, yet terribly strong. Who was your teacher? My father. Really? Then we have the same. My father taught me to wield a sword as well. Neither of us can afford to lose. The shame. And I even used my father's gift sword to me to defeat you. Pretty phenomenal EXP. We won! Somehow. It's because you did an excellent job of driving off the ravens. Yeah, if we had continued to fight them, we would have suffered more casualties than this. I must extend thanks to Reyson. My Lord Ike, I'm pleased to see you well. You haven't been injured, have you? Princess Alencia, I'm fine. I'm unharmed. Oh, that's good. Ike, may I have a word? And if you don't mind, Princess Alencia, would you join us as well? Please join me in that building. What could it be? Let's go see. This is... holy... incredible, no? It's gold, all of it. Daein must be filthy rich. There's so much, it doesn't even seem real. What do we do with it? It's the spoils of war, so naturally it's ours. In that case, I'd like to borrow 50,000. Would that be all right? That's a lot of money. What are you planning on doing? It's a private matter. I apologize, Commander. You're not a child. There's no reason for me to pry. My Lord Ike, please use this gold for the mercenary company. Until now, I haven't had the resources to adequately pay them. So please. No, if I may borrow the 50,000, that will be more than... You won't borrow it. You'll accept it, and in good faith. The remainder we'll give to Soren for company maintenance. Would that be all right, Princess Alencia? Yes, of course. General Patrine, please, General. I'm just a messenger. However, I have to tell you, I already heard, you dunderhead. I hated those filthy crows from the start. Even so, to be betrayed in such a fashion, someone will pay for this. Oh, you certainly had your way with us, didn't you, King Kilvis? But if you want to make an enemy of Daein, then so be it. Once Gallia has fallen, we'll turn our attention to your puny nation and wipe it off the face of the world. Why are you still here? Do you find me amusing? Shall I make my lance dance for you? No, ma'am. No, never. Not at all. I beg your pardon. Sorry. I'll be going now. Dog's breath. I need something. A brilliant plan. If this continues much longer, the king will have my head. Yep, he might even use that brilliant lance of yours. You wanted to see me? You've waited a long time. Take this. It's the gold you were promised. Finally scraped it together, eh? I'll gladly accept it. Aren't you going to count it? There's no need. I'll trust you. All right. Then I'll take what was promised. The report you wrote for my father. There isn't one. What? There is no report. Never was. You lied to me? You exploited my need to know more about my father? There is something I must tell you. However, it could not be written down. It is too good of a secret for that. Your father told me to wait until I thought you were mature enough to hear it, and then to tell you myself. Mature? Then what was the 50,000 gold for? Ah, the gold. That was my idea. I thought it would be a good way to test how resourceful and responsible you were. Get started. I want to hear it all. I spent a long time as Grail's hired shadow. A long time. I remained hidden from sight in case the day ever arrived that I needed to fulfill my contract. All the time, for one job. What was it? If Grail were to ever go berserk, I was to stop him. I was to take his life. What? Actually, there was one other thing. If Grail were ever slain by his pursuers, I was to watch over his son and tell him Grail's secret at an appropriate time. That was my job. Berserk? What are you talking about? Why would you have to kill my father? Because of Leiron's medallion. What medallion? What are you talking about? The medallion the medallion your sister carries. Huh? That old bronze thing? I thought it was just a keepsake of my mother's. Are you telling me that it's somehow more? Grail told me it was an object of great peril, but nothing more. I did some investigating on my own, though, and what I discovered surprised me. Tell me. They really like this still shot. Leiron was one of the Huron clan, an ancestor of our Prince Reyson, who carried with him a bronze medallion. Long, long ago, a band of heroes defeated an evil god and imprisoned it therein. An evil god? Do you think this is funny? You are joking, aren't you? Unfortunately, I'm not, and I've no idea how the cursed thing came to be in Grail's possession. That being said, I do know that the men who hunted your father were actually seeking the medallion. Why they wanted it, and what they planned to do with it, just thinking about it gives me chills. I'm finding all of this a little hard to believe. You said the medallion was an object of great peril, didn't you? Then why would my father allow Miss to carry it around? That doesn't make any sense. It's because she can carry it safely. Actually, she's the only one who can. If you want proof, think back. Have you ever once touched it? No, I haven't. A long time ago, I remember reaching out for it while Mist had it in her hand. My father scolded me harshly. After that, I assumed it was my sister's alone, and I never reached for it again. Compared to other people, the balance within your sister is extremely strong. Your mother, it seems, was the same. That's why they could bear it safely. The medallion is like a strong poison. It takes the worst aspects of a person and magnifies them 1,000-fold. Grail touched it only once, and it drove him to complete madness. So that's what you meant when you said he went berserk? That's right. Bjork and Leguz are made up of two forces, balance and chaos. In this, there is no difference between us. It is the proportion of balance to chaos that determines how much the medallion affects a person. In that sense, it predicts how much harm that person might do. Your father was one of the preeminent swordsmen of his generation. That day, after he touched the medallion, 20 soldiers had come for him. 20 highly trained killers. Your father barely broke a sweat cutting them down. Then he began attacking his neighbors, those who had taken him in, concealed his identity and called him friend. He slew them one by one, until your mother rushed in, thinking only to save her husband from himself. It was over in an instant. Your mother grabbed the medallion from his hand and stepped away from him. They say she smiled as he pulled his sword from her breast and forgave him as her life's blood spilled into the street. My father killed my mother? No, that can't be. It was the medallion. Its power is too great for any man, even one of your father's caliber. Me, you, if either of us touched it, I'm certain that we both would have been consumed by madness. When your father regained his senses, he tracked me down. It seemed he'd heard rumors of me some time before. He said he had need of someone like me, close-mouthed, skilled, and most importantly, willing to do any sort of work. Of course, after hearing what he wanted me to do, I turned him down. Grail was once a famed general. He was Sir Gawain, one of Daein's 4 riders, and I recognized him at once. There was no chance someone like me would ever be able to stop him. But you took the job anyway. Why did you change your mind? Grail had lost his wife, and his grief was overpowering. To keep anything like that from happening again, he crippled himself. He slashed the tendons in his sword hand, so that he could not wield a sword again. I took the job only because he had become someone my skill could handle. And even then, he was still far stronger than most men. I don't know what to say. That is Grail's secret, as I know it. I now entrust to you the responsibility of seeing that that medallion does not fall into the wrong hands. Your sister must keep it. As my father lay dying, he told me to forget everything and live in peace. What did he mean? He didn't want you to lose yourself and go hunting for revenge, I suppose. He was killed much, much sooner than he ever expected to be. So my father's dying wish was for me to protect the medallion? If I can do that, everything will be all right? I believe so. At the very least, that must take precedent over everything else. I understand. Oh, one last thing. What is it? Do you want to hire me, in the event that you go berserk someday? If we make a deal now, you won't have to worry about it anymore. As for payment, I can take it out of the 50,000 you just gave me. What do you say? Alright, so this is where you get the storied promotion of Volk. And if you hire him, you get it. And if you don't hire him, he disappears, I believe, from your party completely. I don't know if that's the fact. I know he doesn't promote. That's all I can really say about that. And I've never not hired him, even when I've not used him in combat. So I couldn't really tell you for that matter. But I can tell you this. It is worth hiring him. Even if you use Soth, it is worth having 2 thieves. And you only get 2 thieves in this game. So I hire him regardless. Please. That's a wise decision. And in that case, I no longer need to conceal my true identity. Huh? And there we have it. Volk becomes an assassin. I'm not really a thief. I'm an assassin. From now on, I'll take on any job you've got, no matter how dirty. Father. Mother. Oh, why? And we get a load of bonus EXP for all the turns we cleared it sooner than the limit. Most chapters in this game have a 10-turn clear limit, that if you don't clear it by then, you start getting diminishing value for your clear bonuses and whatnot. But we completed this chapter in, 6 turns? So we got all the bonus experience points for that, and I do believe we got all the bonus experience points for all the Ravens leaving. I think they all left. I think 240 is the max you can get. So we got a pretty decent chunk of change there. All right, so that was Chapter 19, Entrusted. I'll see you next time.